here at McKinley Memorial Fieldhouse. Mike, this is my first time here.
It is. I'm glad you're here tonight.
Oh my gosh, this is my first time here. I'll tell you what, I was not expecting this. I didn't think it was going to be like this, but I'm not disappointed, Mike.
You're in awe.
I'm in awe.
I could tell when we were here, like 3 minutes, you were just in awe because you were just quiet. You were just looking out over everything, and then we went around and looked at more stuff here today.
Now, first of all, the interior of this place is insane. Second of all, you got a great basketball team that plays here. McKinley Bulldogs, another great basketball team that comes in here. The Lake Blue Streaks coming in. Lake 0-2 on the season, losing 2 very close games. Coach McBride said, hey, these losses were only by like 6 possessions. So we were talking to McKinley's head coach, we were talking to Lake's head coach, and both of them agreed that this is going to be fast, physical, and a little bit on the lower scoring side because they want to close those gaps.
Well, yeah, if you're McKinley, you want to control the pace as best as you can. And if you're Lake, like I mentioned maybe a couple nights ago when we were talking about this game at the end of the Green Brunswick game, Lake, one of the more disciplined programs in the county, one of the more successful programs in the county. They're going to do what they can to keep themselves in this game.
Yes, they will. And McKinley, head coach Sean Weatherspoon, it's only his second season. Last year, they went 15-9 in an 8-4 run in the Federal League. And this could be the catalyst for restarting that run that they had last year, especially off the heels of Reed Sims Jr.
Well, yeah, Reed Sims, one of the best players in the county, but he's got some help in the line of Javion Carter, guys like Anthony Shavers. Sims, very athletic, the son of a former basketball player at Glen Oak, who I got to see, and he's the catalyst for this team.
Yes, he is. And so we take a look and shift over to the Lake side of things. Lake 0-2, those 2 very, very close losses that they had earlier in the season, okay? The Lake Blue Streaks, distinct performance trends amongst the quarters in their past 2 games. First quarter, the team starts strong. They have shooting performances like no other. They're shooting 66.7% in the first quarter. But as you start going down in the quarters, go to the second quarter, it drops a little bit. We start getting down into the 50s, and then we go into the third quarter, and we're down into the 40s, and then we go into the fourth quarter, and we're back still in the 50s. So it's a teeter-tottering course of events for the Lake Blue Streaks, but if they can pull their act together and keep this within a feasible size lead, then they're going to be just fine, especially if they're able to keep it close in those close games.
Right, and we're going to hear from Tom McBride coming up in the pregame interviews. He talked about his team is still trying to find an identity. He used a couple of different starting lineups in their first 2 games. This was a program who last year was led by a really good guard by the name of Chance Kazanizer. He missed most of the first half of the season with an injury. They struggled without him. They came back, they played well. Now he's playing up at Mount Union. So they're trying to find an identity to see who's going to be that leader, who's going to be that catalyst for their team.
Yeah, so let's take a look at our starting lineups for tonight. On the Lake side of things, we have Anthony Douglas, a 5'11 junior guard. Gavin Saltzwimmer, 6'2 junior forward. Will Cole, a 6'1 senior forward. And Ethan Morrow, a 6'5 junior center. And then running at the point, I can only assume, is Zach Novak.
Yeah, he's a new player in the starting lineup that they have not started this season. So, like we talked about, Tom McBride just kind of trying to get a feel for his team, it being early in the season. And what a great opportunity for them. I mean, they're coming in to one of the best basketball venues in Ohio. It's their Federal League opener. They're not going to be intimidated by this place, I don't think. I mean, I'm sure they're going to be really excited to play here, and they get to go up against a really good McKinley team.
Yeah, so on the McKinley side of things, we were talking about Javion Carter, 6-foot junior guard. He's a scoring guard and playmaker. He's been averaging 12.3 points per game for the Bulldogs in their first couple of games. Okay? We got, obviously, Anthony Shavers, Jalen Jeter, Ed Webster, Reed Sims Jr. You got all the guys that you previously saw on the squad last year, whether it was in a 6-man role or more of a rotational player. They've now stepped up into the fold and are taking over for the guys that left after last year.
Yeah, and they got some good pieces that come off the bench, too. Keith Quincy, a great football player for the McKinley football team who could do so many things this season. So in addition to those starters, they're going to have some good pieces coming in for them.
Yeah, and as we were saying earlier, Mike, we do have some pregame interviews lined up just for you guys. We have Sean Weatherspoon from McKinley coming up right now.
I mean, they got a lot of talented kids. These games that they've been losing have been very close. So for around the 50-60 range that you guys are averaging per game, they're in the same boat, and they're losing all those close games. So how are you going to be able to close that gap?
Honestly, we know they are a very well coached team. Every team in the Fair League plays extremely hard. So we know we're going to have to come out focused, ready to go. Cannot take these guys lightly at all, whether they lost 2 games or 3 games, whatever the case may be. So we just got to stick to our game plan, come out, defend a high level. I think we'll be in good shape.
Yeah, 100%. So you talk about your game plan for tonight. You want to play at this high level. How's that going to translate to on the court?
Yeah, like I said, guys just doing their job, playing fast, playing smart, playing together, playing discipline. And just like I said, sticking to the game plan, and understanding that the guy next to him is doing their job. As long as the guy doing his job, we should be fine.
Yeah, and we see a lot of press about Reed Sims Jr. and how he, the 6'5" kid who's extremely talented on and off the court. Can you just talk about how his impact has really benefited the team these past couple of years for you guys?
Oh, definitely. Reed's a heck of a player. 3-level scorer. This year he's playing some pretty good defense for us as well. Doing some other things. Being a good teammate, being a leader, and things like that. His energy, the way he goes is the way our team goes. So. Our players look up to him, and as long as he come in at a high level with a high level of energy and ready to go, I think our team will be as well.
Yeah, and you're talking about how he's, leading this team, but are we going to see more of a balanced rotation for you guys tonight?
Absolutely. I think we have a good 8-9 guys that should be able to contribute in a very good way. We're a little deeper than we were last year, a little longer than we were last year as far as size and things like that. So I think everybody is ready to go. Had a couple good days of practice this week, and this guy's is ready to go for his first field.
Now I can.
Welcome back, everybody. That was Sean Weatherspoon talking about his team, the McKinley Bulldogs. Now we got Coach McBride up on the menu just for you guys. Coach McBride talking about his team.
Yeah, we've got to control the ball tonight. There's no question they're going to come after us defensively with a lot of pressure, and we did not handle that very well against Boardman. Dover was a different type of team. Our competitiveness is there. 2 4-point losses can go either way when you look at those games, probably a matter of 6 possessions. It's just whether or not we can withstand 32 minutes of constant pressure here tonight. If we do and pick win is a good shot to get an easy one and when's time to run great offense, I think we can compete enough to be where we need to be, 4 minutes left to go in the game.
Yeah, so last year we saw a lot of chase when he came back, but now it's not all about that one guy. Was it ever about that one guy at Lake?
No, I think we had Chase in a really good position going into the year last year, and unfortunately that practice before the season started when he broke his ankle and had to sit 10 games. I think by the time he came back, like any kid, he's trying to, finish up his high school career. We weren't winning at that time, and I think he tried to do all that he could to get us wins. And, we go a little over 500 in that stretch when he comes back, get a tournament win. So I think the season could have been a lot different with a healthy Chance all season long. I think we were working towards the same goals and working towards being a more complete basketball player than just a scorer. But he's doing a great job at Mount Union, and I'm happy for him and glad that injury didn't hamper his complete success.
Yeah, so coming back to the game tonight, what is this rotation going to look like for you guys?
I think that's something we're still trying to iron out. We've had 2 different starting lineups. Tonight will also be a 3rd different starting lineup. We're trying to get a good feel on, who can replace who can come in what positions. It's kind of an odd team. We kind of have 10, 11 guys that are pretty similar, pretty much the same. And I think we're still looking a little bit for who's going to rise above, who's going to take some positions over, who's going to take some spots. And in saying that, we've also just gotten some guys back that have only practiced maybe 5-6 times due to injury and trying to mix them into the lineup. So we're just not quite where we think we can be. Thankfully, basketball's a long season. We may even need to get into Christmas break to get to where our second half of the season's a lot better than the first. But having a lot of good times growing with these guys. They're great kids, and I wish the best for them.
And just like that, folks, we are back live from Camp McKinley Memorial Fieldhouse. Mike, what are you to expect tonight?
Well, I'm going to, like I said earlier, McKinley's going to try to control the pace as best as they can. It's just how well Lake is disciplined, how well they play defensively, how well they control the pace when they got the offense, when they're on offense. And that's what they need to do to give themselves a chance.
Yeah, so we were reflecting on Lake's status here in the Federal League and in their common play earlier, but I'm going to take you through McKinley's style of play here. Listen, the first quarters of their game are their strongest offensively. They have a 52.9% field goal range, averaging 19 points in the first quarter. But turnovers are slightly above normal at 17%. So they're turning the ball over 17% of that. Of their first and second quarters. So they need to keep their turnovers down. Obviously, that is a glaring issue, but it's not a glaring issue just for the Bulldogs. Okay, this is a thing that happens with everybody. If you take a look at Lake, they're turning the ball over about 25% of the time on all of their possessions. So it's not something that is just exclusive to one team. Obviously, turnovers are a big part of the game. And the other thing is, if you're having turnovers, you're likely to also have a lot of foul trouble. And like we've been talking about these last couple of nights, Mike, the free throw shooting that we've seen has been less than stellar.
Right, yeah. And you talk about the turnovers. That could have something to do, obviously we haven't seen these two teams play yet, that could have something to do with the fact that we're still early in the season. And especially from a Lake standpoint, as Tom McBride has said, he's had to play a couple of different lineups to try to get, to see who his top guys are. So, but yeah, you're right. Yeah, the more mistakes you make, you put yourselves in danger of losing, obviously. So, I think, we'll see what happens tonight. Federal League opener for both teams. It's a great basketball league. I'm sure both teams are pretty, excited to get the league season going after playing a couple of non-league games, get a couple of games in before the holidays to try to, put themselves in a good position in the league race.
Yes, and a good position to win. I think both of these teams have a big, nice, open chance to do in the first place. It's going to be a really rough battle for both of these teams because in the Federal League, you're playing physical basketball. You're playing physical football. You're playing physical squared. Every sport that you're playing, that is contact. But, it's not a foregone conclusion. It's not something that everybody has decided before the game. Anything is possible on a Tuesday or a Friday in high school basketball, and I think McKinley and Lake both are going to emphasize that point very heavily tonight.
Yeah, it's a great league. We're seeing Perry off to a good start. We're seeing Hoover off to a really good start. They played really great last week against Youngstown East. We've got a big game tonight against Jackson that we're going to be keeping our eyes on as well.
And now, folks, we are heading downstairs, and by downstairs I mean literally over my perch. I can look over and see I'm on the court, Mike.
You like looking over a perch, though, whether it's here or at Green.
Anthony Shavers wins the tip-off for McKinley. Now we have Jalen Jeter carrying it up the court for the Bulldogs. Reed Sims has got it now at the key. Looks like he's going to pull up a quick one off the jump. Sims has 3 already. He takes that one a little bit offset of the key, farther back than we're used to seeing high school basketball players take those threes.
Yeah, he showed a great inside-outside game so far.
Yes, and so now we have Zach Novak with his right. He's on the right perimeter. He's going to shoot that out to Anthony Douglas, who gives it right back. Off the screen, he's trapped, but he's got Douglas open, who gives it to Salt Swimmer, who's going to drain a 3 from the corner, and we got a tie ball game here within the first minute. Now, this is one of the most fast starts. This is one of the fastest starts that we've seen to a game, if you're, not counting a blowout victory, Mike.
Well, we've seen, I think, 3-3 before, and then we've seen a team go like on a 12-0 run, so we'll see what happens here.
It looked like on that play, Anthony Shavers was trying to get it to Reed Sims Jr., who was cutting underneath the basket, but just couldn't get to it as Reed Sims Jr. fumbles with the ball, and it goes out of bounds. But it looks like it is going to be called in favor of McKinley. And Reed Sims Jr. had a look at a 3 at the key, but he's going to get that into Anthony Shavers, who finds Davey Thompson inside, and Thompson's going to put one up.
That was Ed Webster that was, it was Davey Thompson. I should listen to you and not the PA announcer.
You could. Inside is Lake's number 2, Zach Novak, who can't get it done inside the paint. Looking to moss a guy inside the paint is Anthony Shavers, and he won't be successful inside the paint.
Yeah, it's going to be the first foul of the game on Lake, and that's going to be on Ethan Morrow. And you can see early how fast McKinley wants to play. Get quickly down the court, try to control possession.
Anthony Shavers nails his first. Now for a second to put McKinley up 4 on the Blue Streaks. Will dribble, floats it, and he's knocked it down.
And that's a good sign. 2 free throws made right away.
And now Lake trapped on the other side of the court, looking like a full court press on the double team. Number 2, Zach Novak, gets a man right outside. Instead, he'll fall to the ground and have another chance as number 31, Gavin Saltswimmer, will have the inbound for the Blue Streaks.
Now, first foul of the game on Anthony Shavers. Great defense by McKinley, but just a little bit too great on that end as Shavers picks up the foul.
Saltswimmer inbounds it to Novak. Novak, through his legs, tries a pivot, won't find it. Ball stolen out of his hands by Javion Carter. It's going to be McKinley ball.
Yeah, it's just an unforced turnover there by Lake. You can't have that many empty possessions against a great team like McKinley and expect to come out with a win.
Yeah, especially when McKinley's able to put points on the board quickly and effectively. We've got Javion Carter on the right perimeter, who finds Reed Sims. Spot up at the three-point line, won't find a foul. That's going to hit the back of the rim. Almost falls into Lake's number 43, Ethan Morrow's hands, which it eventually does after a fair tussle between 2 players. Novak has it at the key. He'll look for a screen to the right. Finds a man in the corner who's going to try and cut under. That ball's intercepted after a deflection by Ethan Morrow. Going inside was a great pass by Reed Sims, and a floater by Jalen Jeter puts McKinley up 6 with 5 minutes 15 to go in the first quarter. It's McKinley 9, Lake 3, 5:14 left in the first.
Yeah, Tom McBride's going to take a timeout right now. 9-3 McKinley lead. 4 different Bulldogs into the scorebook already. Great play down here by Lake, to try to get the ball inside for a layup, but McKinley anticipating the pass, forcing the turnover, and then getting at the basket at the other end.
Now McKinley is going to Lake is going to have another shot at this when they inbound the ball again out of this timeout. And Lake's really got to get something going here, but it shouldn't take them very much. I mean, they're 3 2s, 2 3s down. It's really not hard for them to cut this lead down that McKinley has, especially.
Right. Yeah, I mean, plenty of time left in the game here, obviously, and you're only down by a couple of baskets here. There's no rush to get into an offense if you're Lake. just try to be patient, see what you can do, as McKinley is going to come out, going to press half court here, it looks like.
Yep. And Salt Swimmer goes to Novak in the middle, who fires it to Will Cole, gets it to Anthony Douglas, and Douglas puts up another three.
And just when I say be patient, they get a three. Quick three, 9-6.
And just as you said that, Mike, a little bit of discourse goes on the other side of the court as McKinley's number 0, Javion Carter, finds himself in disagreement with the actual basket stem. Lake's number 31, Gavin Salt Swimmer, almost gives a fair little bit of an interception. Almost gives another one. Novak's got it inside, and he'll find Morrow, guarded closely by, Ed Webster. Now they've got to do something. He can't carry it for so long. That ball's tipped. Lake's got a guy inside. Gavin Salt Swimmer gets the and one, and after a very, very aggressive sequence of events from that McKinley defense, Lake still comes up with the and one off of Salt Swimmer's back.
Yeah, great discipline by Lake to find the open man Salt Swimmer. Try to get the and one and tie the game, possibly.
Now, as we wait for the McKinley and Lake players to make their way over to the foul stripe, Salt Swimmers first goes in, and we have a tie ball game here. 4:22 left to go in the first. It's McKinley 9, Lake 9. McKinley leading the bonus charge with 2 fouls over Lake, and now we have Jalen Jeter at the key, pushed out by Novak, and Reed Sims putting up a deep three! Buckles its way in, and that's limitless range from the kid right there.
Oh my God, 2 deep threes from Sims already to give the Bulldogs back a 12-9 lead.
Novak dribbling down the court very quickly. He's finding himself on the right. Anchoring this offense is number 15, Anthony Douglas, and Douglas sends it out of bounds on an out-of-touch pass.
Yeah, McKinley defensively, you're not going to sit back. They're challenging the ball handlers, trying to make it so hard for Lake.
And they are making it hard for Lake, Mike. Reed Sims able to get all these deep threes off very quickly, especially after such a fast break like they just had. The fact that he's able to just stop on his step right in his tracks and just put one up, make it, is astonishing. Number 43 doesn't get a call. Ethan Morrow for Lake finds himself on the ground, turning the ball over to Reed Sims. Sims gets it over to Jeter. Jeter says, let's do it myself, as that ball is going to tip off the front of the rim, and it's almost stolen right back by Chavers, who gets it to Novak, and Novak inside finds Morrow. Morrow puts another one up. That's right off the rim, in between the backboard, off a little ping pong.
Yeah, you want to see what Lake is trying to do, trying to get the ball inside. The guys like Morrow and Salt Swimmer here, they're finding them a couple times, just not being able to complete some of these possessions.
Salt Swimmer, again, an off-put pass finds its way into the hands of Anthony Chavers, who slams it down, Mike. Let me tell you, I was not expecting that from the kid. Chavers only putting up 14 points per game, and I say only as if he didn't just put up potentially McKinley's play of the season so far.
Well, that's easily the play of the season from what the games we've seen, and now, boy, Tom McBride just storming off the bench after that last foul on McKinley.
Looks like, Mike, he's a little upset with the call there, or actually the fact that there was no call at all. A little blown away by the fact that they would even let that slide. Mike, I couldn't tell you what happened as my eyes were on the ball.
Well, there was a foul called. That was called on Jalen Bowles. That's his first. I think he might have been worried that it was a pretty hard foul there.
Ball stolen again by Chavers, who goes Euro step inside, won't find the rim, instead finds the ball in the hands of a Lake defender. That's Luke Fred Monsky, who's got to get it down the court. ball also turned over one more time by the Blue Streaks. Blue Streaks turnovers are killing themselves on these turnovers.
Well, they're going to keep possession of the ball because that's going to be the second foul on Jalen Jeter, a reach-in foul. That's 4 fouls on McKinley here in the first quarter.
McKinley already eyeing to give Lake the bonus. Novak's got it for Lake. He'll find himself on the right side. Tries to screen pass with Ethan Morrow. Or excuse me, rather, that's Anthony Douglas. And Douglas can't get it done as the ball comes off his feet. And that ball is going to roll right back into the hands of Anthony Chavers.
Going back to that Anthony Chavers dunk, the one time we wish we had video so people could see it, because I wasn't expecting it either.
Neither was I. I mean, if I saw him coming at that speed, wow. Us. Javion Carter finds Jalen Bowles, who puts up another three. Is Reed Sims on the three. He's got 3 threes on the night already, and it looks like this McKinley team is just unstoppable as the Bulldogs lead 17-9 up on Lake.
Reed Sims like taking a step back on each of these threes. Boy, that was a deep one.
Looking inside for a three was Will Cole, but inside instead is going to be Gavin Saltswimmer, who gets the push-off that he needs and will find himself at the foul stripe.
Boy, just like that, Lake takes a timeout. They're able to tie the game at 9. And here comes McKinley storming back with 8 straight points to take a 17-9 lead.
And the fact that Lake's already going to the line off of a reach-in is not a good omen for this McKinley discipline. But at the end of the day, if McKinley can still keep up this scoring run that they've been on, I think they're going to be in good shape no matter what fouls they get called.
Well, yeah, under the old rules with the fouls, they would be kind of closing in on Lake shooting free throws for a good chunk of the rest of the first half. They're in the bonus right now, 1:56 to go in the first quarter. That'll reset after the quarter. But yeah, you don't want to give a team like Lake, an underdog team like Lake, free opportunities like this to get themselves back in the ball game.
Off of another free throw is Lake's number 31, Gavin Saltswimmer. The fouled man gets only one of his 2. Coming inside is Javion Carter, who finds himself out to Ed Webster, and he's got another 3. Look up, look down. It's now Jaden Bowles with the putback for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, it's a 10-1 run for McKinley here to go up 19-10.
Now, Novak loses the ball again, and now that ball's in the hands of Jaden Bowles, who's got to look at a 3, but gives it to his friend Javion Carter instead, and that's another 3. Carter with the 3.
Yeah, 4 threes for the game for the Bulldogs. First one for Carter.
I mean, wow, Novak almost loses the ball again. He's got the McKinley student section up on their feet. And another 3 put up. Will Cole tries to put up another 3. Driving inside is Anthony Douglas, who tries to give it to an underhanded pass to his buddy Luke Fredmonsky, but he can't get it done. And now McKinley takes out Sims and now puts in Carter and Tavion Spencer.
And Tom McBride's going to go with Nicholas Geyer and a number 35 that we don't have.
And a number 35 that we'll never have.
Well, Dylan Sponseller on this other roster that we have here.
Off the screen, it's Anthony Chavers, who gets that ball bobbled to Jaden Bowles. Now Davey Thompson has a look at a 3, won't take it. Instead, Javion Carter takes it. He's got a man inside. He's wide open for the layup, and he'll take that lane and take it through. And now McKinley, 24, Lake, 10. I think I just saw a McKinley defender try to use their foot to get the ball. That tells you the type of defense that we're playing at the Fieldhouse tonight. And now Javion Carter open on the other side. A lob off the backboard, for Anthony Chambers, who slays it down. That is his second dunk of the night. And now McKinley, relentless on the offense, puts them up 16. Now Lake number 3 that we also don't have puts up another 3 and won't find the rim. Instead, McKinley comes out firing in this first quarter, 26-10, a 16-point lead after 8 minutes.
it's Davin Moore that's going to be entering the game for Lake, number 3. Actually, Dominic Marikoki. That's who's entering the game for Lake. Wow. What a finish by McKinley at the end of that first quarter.
I mean, I'm out of breath, not only from talking, which I know is a shocker because you think I'm pretty good at talking. But, I mean, wow, I'm at a loss for words. I was not expecting that, Mike. We came in here thinking this was going to be a bit more of a hard-hitting slog than it was a fast-firing offense from McKinley.
Well, I think the story of the first quarter, McKinley's defense has set up its offense. 3 threes from Sims, a couple of dunks from Shavers, and I haven't been keeping track of turnovers, but I don't know how many steals or turnovers McKinley has been able to force, but that defense has just been relentless in the first half.
I mean, it is blazing this evening, Mike, and now Lake's going to send out their guys. We have Will Cole, Dylan Smonseller, Ethan Morrow, Anthony Douglas, and Zach Novak back on the court for the Blue Streaks as that ball's inbounded to Novak. Novak tries to cross over on Carter, won't find him. Instead, Cole finds himself on the left side. He's trapped in between 2 guys. Novak has it once more, looking for an undercut. Instead, goes back to the key as he'll find Cole. Dribbles his way over to the right side, goes inside to Morrow. Morrow finds the points he wants. And now, Lake cuts the lead down to only 14 for McKinley.
Yeah, we'll see if Lake can build off this now after that big Bulldogs run to end of the first quarter.
McKinley, absolutely ruthless on the offensive attack, but their first offensive possession in the second quarter won't amount to anything as that ball gets right back into the hands of a Lake defender, or excuse me, offense player. You know what? I'm just going to go back. We're going to mentally reset after that one, Mike.
Well, that was Dylan Sponseller with the basket. A couple of Lake baskets here to start the second quarter, so let's see what they can do with trying to gain a little bit of momentum to try to get back into this game. Ed Webster will be going to the line here for McKinley.
Webster's first is knocked in.
Dante Hill coming into the game for McKinley for the first time.
And Sims Jr. sat down in front of the scorer's table, means he's about to come in as well. That second free throw is knocked down, and now McKinley, 28-14, doubling the score of the Blue Streaks after a minute in the second quarter.
Now Reed Sims Jr. back into the game for McKinley. 9 points already, 3 threes.
And like we were saying, it's a relentless defense from the Canton McKinley Bulldogs.
Yeah,
I mean, they take an inbound from Lake and make it a redo on Lake's part because that's just how many hands they're getting on the ball. Now, Novak has it. Novak, undercut pass, no foul, or excuse me, no bucket for the and one, but Saltzwinner gets the foul, and that's going to send him into the free throw line.
Yeah, Saltzwinner with 7 of Lake's 14 points here to start the game tonight. The foul's going to go against Ed Webster, and that's his first. Team first for McKinley.
He misses his first. McBride telling his men to get back. Swishes his second one, and that's going to give McKinley a 13-point lead over the Blue Streaks. It's McKinley 28, Lake 15, 6:48 to go here in the second. Jayden Bowles gets it to Sims, who puts up another 3, bricked off. Ball finds itself underneath the legs of a couple of players for Lake, and now it's a 2v1 as number 15 for the Blue Streaks Anthony Douglas is going to try and pull up a floater, but it won't fall. Sims now has it again, finds Carter over on the left perimeter. And now off a false crossover, he tries to go behind his back, tips over instead, and that's going to be a foul on number 33, Will Cole.
Second team foul on the Blue Streaks here in the quarter. McKinley retains possession, still up 28-15.
Sims gets the inbound, finds himself at the top, off of a screen from his teammate. He tries to go by himself over on that right side to cut under, but won't find his lane. Number 11, Jaden Bowles, goes inside. No foul call, but he gets a tough layup to give McKinley the break 30 mark. It's McKinley 30, Lake 15. We've got 5 minutes, 55 seconds left to go in the second leg. Inside is Lake's number 31, Devin Saltzberger, and now a timeout taken by McKinley. Sends both teams back to the benches.
Well, that's a couple of converted possessions for Lake right there, especially from Saltzberger. He's up to 10 points tonight to get his team within 30-17. We talked about Reed Sims Jr. before the game, but, you know, like we said earlier, boy, he's got some really good pieces around him that we've seen tonight. I think 6 or 7 McKinley guys already in the scorebook.
Yeah, correct. And before the game, when I was talking with Weatherspoon, he said that it was going to be more of a balanced rotation because he said that it's always nice to have guys that are able to spread out on the court. And now that we're seeing it in action, I'd say it's been pretty effective.
Right, and it doesn't look like it's early in the season by the way they're playing right now. They're, you know, not too many mistakes, just a real good cohesive unit out there.
Together as a team, together as one, Reed Sims goes behind his back, finds inside. Now Bowles has got it, puts one up, way off the mark, rebounded by Darius Hill. Reed Sims has got it at the key, crossover, step back, up, not down. That ball's off the foot of a Lake defender, number 31, Saltzberger.
Boy, I thought Sims was going to take that three the first time he caught the ball there.
I did too, but a highlight's a highlight. Now Sims has it on the left side. A sky hook inside instead of a shot. It's a pass, and that is gone from Webster. And they've got to get down the court now. Lake, it's a 2-on-2. They've got a man in the corner. Number 31, Saltzberger, goes inside. Number 23, Nick Geyer, way off the mark. Carter instead takes it inside. Reed Sims loses it behind his head, and he's not going to get a foul call. Play will resume. Refs letting it go on. Novak resets at the Fieldhouse logo. It's McKinley 30, Lake 17, a 13-point lead for the Bulldogs with 4 minutes, 35 seconds to go. And a long-range shot from Cole won't go in. Bowles drives inside. He's got Carter. Carter tries to get a reverse layup, and that's going to be blocked by Lake's number 31, Saltzberger.
Ball's going to maintain possession with McKinley here. But we talked about Reed Simmons Jr. the other night. Last year in a game against Massillon. Breakaway dunk where he bounced the ball to himself and was able to dunk it.
And Reed Sims, as you were just saying that, adds another highlight to his reel as he gets a quick fadeaway jumper to roll in off of a bounce off the front of the rim. And it's Lake's ball now. McBride telling Novak, hey, we got to get things moving. Cole has it on the right perimeter, looking for a cut inside to Saltzberger. Won't find it. Instead, he'll break Sims, and he'll put one up anyways, and he'll find the foul. It's McKinley 32, Lake 17. Lake only had 17. Could get a little bit of a boost from these foul shots, but that's barring no misses.
Right. That was a good aggressive move there by Cole to get down into the key like that to draw that foul. As he tries to get his team within 13. Makes the first free throw. Anthony Chavers coming back into the game for McKinley and for Ed Webster.
It looks like now, besides one man, we have the same starting lineup that we had in the first quarter, aka the starting lineup.
As Cole hits the second.
It's the second starting lineup. I mean, in Lake's case, this is their third separate starting lineup they've had. Jaden Bowles gets it to Reed Sims Jr. His name's just fun to say, that's why you gotta slow it down phonetically. Now we got excuse me, I missed exactly what happened there, but a three was chucked up by Jaden Bowles, but it won't fall in. And now it's going into the possession of the Lake as Dylan Sponseller inbounds it to Novak. Novak pressed up by a couple of McKinley guys, almost taken away. Sponseller trapped, gets it back to Novak at the key. Now, we've got Seltzwimmer, who drives with his right, back to the key. No Lake person is inside right now. Novak looking to hit a LeBron Hezzy for a three-pointer. Won't find it. Ball's stolen by Seltzwimmer, loses possession. Finds it back. And Novak looking to drive in front. We've got one by Sponseller. Let it fly. No good. Ball inside. That's to Nick Dyer. No go for Lake. As that ball fouled outside, Anthony Chavers finds a quick jump and spin around for what I can only assume would have been quite the impressive victory.
Yeah, Chavers really been impressive tonight. A couple of highlight film dunks to help McKinley get out to this big lead. And they're not going to call that a shooting foul, so McKinley will be out of bounds here.
Now Jeter on the inbound finds inside. It's washed out, but that would have been Darius Hill on the board, or on the putback. Now, McKinley 32, Lake 19. 2 minutes, 27 to go here in the second.
Now foul on Dylan Sponseller, his first for Lake, fourth on the Blue Streaks in the quarter.
And now we saw McKinley taking charge with the fouls in the first quarter, and now it seems like Lake to be the more undisciplined team in the foul department. Ball's given to Sims on the inbound. He'll just put one up. Air ball. Sims outside again, and a man is stepped on inside. Couldn't tell you who. But Jalen Jeter steps on a man to drive inside, resulting in a turnover.
Now that's the third foul on Jalen Jeter, third team foul on the Bulldogs. That's a couple of empty possessions for McKinley down court here the last few minutes. So this is where Lake needs to take advantage of it heading into halftime.
Novak pushes it outside to Douglas. As Douglas spins around, Novak gets it back. Screen by Hastings. Crossover Novak inside. Spinaroonie. Give it to Cole. What do you got? Put one in. Ball's turned over. Reed Sims now has it. He wants to go in himself. Looks like he was trapped out. Lake, successful stop in transition for the Blue Streaks. And a false screen finds himself into a traveling type of guy as Chavers turns the ball over.
Well, that's a rare turnover tonight by McKinley. And we talked earlier about how, the percentage of possessions the teams that turned the ball over on in their first few games. Not many tonight for McKinley.
Lake on the inbound. They got to find somebody. Ball's found in stride, finds its way into the front row as Anthony Chambers off that first turnover tries to turn it right back over, and this is going to be inbounded by Fred Monsky for the Blue Streaks. Blue Streaks find Novak. Ball's almost tipped out by Hill. And in Lake's possession, he's going to be guarded by two guys in transition. Novak tries to go into the corner. That ball's stolen by Sims. Sims takes it by himself through his legs. Ball's poked out. And now finds its way into the hands of Chambers. Chambers says, let's not go inside. Let's give it to Sims instead. Give it to my guy on the paint. Ball's blocked. And now Anthony Chambers tries to put it back up for another one. But he won't find nothing.
The ball's going to go out of bounds to Lake. I have just been so impressed with the way McKinley's defense has played tonight. If they can bottle this into most of their games this year, they're going to be tough to beat.
They are going to be tough to beat, and especially now, they're only down 1 foul to Lake's 4. Novak puts it outside. That ball's intercepted inside by Fred Monsky, and Fred Monsky will put one up. Instead, he'll find himself at the free throw line.
Well, I was going to say, if we're going to see if Lake, would maybe play for one shot here down the stretch. But to get the ball inside of Monsky, he draws the foul. He'll go to the free throw line right now.
That first free throw, Mike, tell him what it was.
It was no good. I'm glad I looked up just in time. 14 fouls apiece here on Lake and McKinley here in the last minute of the second quarter.
Fred Monsky's second foul shot falls right in. And after that foul shot, he's headed right back to the bench.
Say that fast 3 times.
No.
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 Good move.
Dribbling up for McKinley. 45 seconds left. McKinley 32, Lake 20. 4 total fouls for each. Looks like, Jaden Bowles is going to take this clock right out as 30 seconds are left in the quarter. McKinley wants to get the last laugh, so they'll let this wind down. And Keith Quincy, who we saw a lot of in football season, is now on the court. Quincy has the ball on his left, finds a Bowles. Bowles dribbles around, goes inside to Davey Thompson. That's Ed Webster with a quick bucket. There's 3 seconds left. What do you got, Lake? Finds itself up the side of the rim. And that's going to be it for your first half of action. McKinley leads the Lake Blue Streaks 34-20 after 16 minutes of play, Mike.
Yeah. 9-9 game. After Lake takes the timeout, they're able to tie it. And it's been all McKinley since then, led by Reed Sims, Anthony Chambers. They're great defense. They've really made life tough on the Blue Streaks here. We'll see what kind of answer they have here in the second half.
And Mike, since it's halftime, that's going to mean we're going to take a little quick break here, 5 minutes, and then we'll break down your halftime scoring right after this break.
Ladies and gentlemen,
All right, this is Mike Popovich along with Aiden Brueck back here at Memorial Fieldhouse, where the halftime score, the McKinley Bulldogs lead the Lake Blue Streaks by a score of 34-20. We had a tie game early on at 9-9, but then McKinley went on a pretty big run to take a big lead heading into the second half. Looking at some of the scoring unofficially for the Bulldogs in the first half. Javian Carter had 5 points. Anthony Shavers with 8, including a couple of dunks. Jalen Jeter with 5 points. Ed Webster with 8 points. Davey Thompson with 4 points. Jaden Bowles with 4 points. And Reed Sims Jr. with 11 points. He had a couple of threes on the way to his 11-point first half. Looking at some of the scoring for Lake, Anthony Douglas with 3 points. Luke Fredmonsky with 1 point. Gavin Saltzwimmer with 10 points. Will Cole with 2 points. Ethan Morrow with 2 points. And Dylan Sponseller had 2 points in the first half. So at halftime, McKinley leads by a score of 34-20. In the Federal League opener for both teams. McKinley looking to go 3-1 on the season, and Lake looking for their first victory of the season. Aiden Brueck back with us. Aiden trusted me to start the second half on the broadcast. I was able to do it.
Up top, Mike and I just high five. There's your play-by-play.
I feel like it was 1989 all over again.
You press the button.
Well, you could have did the arm slap.
I wasn't going to do the arm slap,
Oh,
Mike.
you stopped short, man.
I do.
Let's talk about maybe what we're going to be doing next week. You know, we talked about it. We're going to be heading back to Green on Tuesday for the Bulldogs against the Hoover Vikings. And then we're going to go check out McKinley versus Glen Oak next Wednesday.
Back here at the Fieldhouse. And back here at the Fieldhouse we are now after that halftime. 7:54 to go in the third. They've got Carter, mid-range, don't fire away. 43 takes that right back. Ethan Morrow for the Blue Streaks. Novak's got it for the Blue Streaks now. Inside to the key, finds Morrow. And now Douglas looks to fire a 3. Instead, that ball is going to find its way into the hands of Saltzwimmer, who finds Novak once more. Carter on his left hip. Novak looks to drive it himself. Haro goes in. Blocked. Now Carter goes inside off of the fast break. Doesn't find it. Amaro misses his pump fake. Finds instead to his main guy, Cole, inside. Reed Sims Jr. hit in the face with the ball. I thought that was funny.
Well, Morrow, Sponseller was trying to get the ball to, well, no, Sponseller was trying to get the ball to Morrow, but it tips out of bounds back to McKinley.
Jalen Jeter with the ball in his hands. He's a versatile forward, or he's a reliable defensive specialist, you know. This kid's got all the pieces in the bag he needs to be a successful defender. Sims telling Carter's got the corner. Instead, they're going to find Ed Webster. Carter undercuts and resets. Now Shavers has got it. Going in. Fouled. On the ground.
The foul's going to go on Gavin Saltzwimmer. That's his second personal foul, first on Lake. We're not seeing McKinley play as fast and loose here early in the second half as they did early on tonight.
No, it looks like they're actually trying to slow down the tempo a little bit to catch Lake off guard, because Lake probably went into the locker room thinking, hey, this is a fast-paced team. We got to play some fast-paced defense. But now that they come back out at half, McKinley's changed up the tempo and throws Lake off their game.
Now Shavers missed the first free throw. Looking to split the pair, and he does.
Like you said, Mike, he splits the pot. Salt Swimmer needs to inbound it to somebody. He'll find, Will Cole. Goes to Zach Novak. Quick three, pull up by number 15, Anthony Douglas. Douglas has got it. He's pumped up. Lake cuts their deficit down to 12.
A second three of the night for Douglas. Excuse me, Aiden.
Excuse me. Reed fires out to Carter. Carter goes inside to Webster, and Webster fires away inside the paint to put the Bulldogs up 14 on Lake. McKinley 37, Lake 23, 5:44 to go left here in the third.
Well, if Lake's going to try to get back into this game, it's going to have to happen pretty soon here.
Novak goes inside, bounces it off the ground, and goes up for a quick layup. Finds the rim. Now McKinley Sims looks to give it to Chavers, who finds Carter. Carter, no heat check for him tonight. Oh, but give him another shot. He'll pull up a mid-range, fade away. That's going to fall in. And it looks like Chavers was going for another highlight play as he pulls up and tries to finish with the alley-oop. But ball fell in before. Novak's got it now for the Blue Streaks, excuse me. And now Douglas needs to pass, does it himself, finds itself, or the ball finds itself in the hands of Chavers. He gets it to Jeter. Jeter inside of Sims Jr. Rebounded by Webster. Webster puts one up and in.
It's 8 points tonight for Webster. 11 points, 11 points, 8 points, 9 points. Just solid balance all around for McKinley.
And that's exactly what Weatherspoon was talking about in our pregame interview. He said, hey, we need to spread this out. And that's exactly what they're doing. But they're doing it while still playing fast-paced basketball.
Yeah, they slowed it down early in the second half here on that first possession. Then on that last possession, Sean Weatherspoon was just saying, move it, keep pushing forward here. Sean Weatherspoon's second here at McKinley. Obviously, he played here, won a state championship here back in the early 2000s. Real storied family he belongs to. His great uncle Nick played here in the 60s, went on to play in the NBA, was on that Washington Bullets team that played the Cleveland Cavaliers in the Cavaliers' Miracle of Richfield season in 1976. And then he has a couple of other famous uncles, Eric and Percy Snow.
Say that again?
Eric and Percy Snow. So Sean Weatherspoon has come from a pretty famous family here.
I mean, what a lineage to come into, not just for your family, but at McKinley, especially at such a successful program over the past 70 years.
Yeah, he was coaching at Maple Heights for a while, took the Alliance job 3 years ago, and then the McKinley job opened up after one season Alliance. It was a no-brainer for him to come back home and coach at the school he grew up in.
Will Cole dishes it off to Zach Novak. Novak, right, left. Pushes it outside to Anthony Douglas, who puts up another three.
Well, that's 9 points on 3 threes for Douglas.
Excuse me, as we just saw, Tavion Spencer miss a wide-open layup. Travel called on Anthony Douglas, sends the ball back in McKinley's way.
Now Lake with an opportunity there to cut it to possibly maybe even 10 with a 3, but McKinley retains possession, 41-28 lead.
Jaden Bowles hands it off to Chavers. Chavers, you want to make something happen again? Find your teammate, Ed Webster, inside, and maybe you'll get something out of that combination. Ed Webster, another two-pointer for the kid. McKinley 43, Lake 28. And Lake, slowly but surely, they're cutting this lead down, but just not consistently as they want to. Firing outside is Lake's number 35, Dylan Sponseller. Gives it to Will Cole, who finds Gavin Saltzwimmer. And now resetting for the Blue Streaks is Saltzwimmer. He'll find a lane inside. Put one up, why don't ya? He'll get Lake at that 30-point threshold. McKinley, 43. Lake, 30. 2 minutes, 56 seconds to go left in the third, Mike.
Yeah, 12 points tonight for Saltzwimmer. Maybe that go-to guy for Lake this season.
And an impressive layup from Jalen Jeter on the layup. Finds it. And now McKinley's got to get back before Lake is able to take over on offense. Novak's got it. Dishes it off to his buddy. Anthony Douglas gets it to Will Cole, who gets another three. A 12-point lead now for the Blue Streaks. Anthony bites, and that ball's put back by Chavers, who goes down. And now the Bulldogs and the Blue Streaks both having very large scoring runs here after a pretty uneventful first little session that we had in the third quarter.
Yeah, that basket by Chavers gives him 11 on the night, and that puts 3 Bulldogs in double figures. Got 2 Blue Streaks in double figures tonight. Galvin Saltzwimmer and Anthony Douglas.
Douglas has been putting up some nice numbers tonight for the Blue Streaks. He has 2 threes. Excuse me, he might have.
Myself. Will Cole had that last 3 down there, so Douglas still sitting at 9 points.
Ethan Morrow goes to the key. Putting one up is Cole. Cole gets it to Morrow, who finds himself right in the paint in a bit of a debacle. Ball's called in Lake's favor.
Yeah, I don't know what you think tonight, because I kind of thinking what we thought last time we were together and saw Brunswick and Green. Green ran into a buzzsaw against Brunswick. I'll finish that thought in a second here.
Now, Javion Carter carrying it up the court for the Bulldogs. Javion Carter cross up. Get it to Jaden Bowles. Bowles resetting at the key. Crossover with his right. Goes to Sims. Sims behind his back. Finds it one more time. Carter's got it on the right side. Mid-range jumper. Gets it right in. McKinley 49, Lake 33. A 16-point lead for the Bulldogs with 1:20 to go here in the third, Mike. Ethan Morrow tries to put one up inside the paint for Lake. One of the only times they've had an open layup is missed. And now Bowles goes inside by himself. Reverse layup off the backboard. He's got it. It's McKinley 51, Lake 33. And a quick turnaround for McKinley as Lake looked to gain a lot of momentum off of those 2 Anthony Douglas threes. Anthony Douglas doesn't get a foul call. Instead, that ball goes to Sims. Euro step. Put one up and in. He's got another. And a quick series of events for McKinley puts them up 20. It's McKinley 53, Lake 33.
Yeah, I believe that's the biggest lead of the night for the Bulldogs.
McKinley forces another Lake timeout. Lake only has 2 more timeouts left here in the third.
Yeah, even with 40 seconds to go in the quarter, Tom McBride's still going to take a timeout here because, I think that was 6 quick points for McKinley here to build a 20-point lead. What I was saying earlier, we talked the other night, Green loses by 25 to Brunswick. I didn't think Green played all that badly. They were up against a good team. I don't think Lake is playing all that badly tonight. They're just going up against a really good McKinley team. And I have to admit, now granted, I don't get to see McKinley as much as other people I work with get to see McKinley. This is the best I've seen him play in a while.
I mean, I'm astonished, especially by the cohesiveness of this McKinley offense. Not that I wasn't expecting it, it's just not that I was expecting it to be this high scoring so early on. Because you usually see the teams reaching those 55-ish points, averaging late in the fourth instead of late in the third. So they're obviously on pace to put up at least 70 tonight if they keep up what they're doing now. Douglas has got it in the corner now for the Blue Streaks, not the Bulldogs. Novak threw his legs at the logo, finds his teammate, Inside is Luke Fredmonski, who goes to Salt Swimmer outside. Anthony Douglas has a three, but gives it to Novak instead. In the corner, Novak puts one up, quick jumper in the middle, and that will end the third quarter. It's McKinley 53, Lake 33 at the end of the third. And Mike, this has been a pretty lopsided affair after that first half.
Yeah, McKinley has taken command here. As we said, 9-9 early in the game. They went on a big run. They're on their way to their third win of the season. Lake going to be dropping 0-3. Still plenty of season left, but I think maybe they're finding their identity tonight with players like Gavin Saltzwinner and Anthony Douglas. So, hitting a couple threes. So, like I said, I don't think Lake's playing all that bad. It's just they're running against a good team.
Now on the court for McKinley is their cheer squad. Props to them, they've been killing it all night, Mike.
So we talked about this being your first visit to the field house. What's been your best thing that you saw here tonight?
That is a great question, Mike. I'm going to have to go with the athletic facilities that are actually in the walls underneath the seating here at McKinley Fieldhouse. I mean, it's astonishing to me. You'd think it was college. Lake's Novak, guarded by Bulls. Bulls instead goes inside. That ball's absolutely swatted away by Chambers, who fouls his way out on the shot.
That's the first foul on Chambers, or second foul on Chambers. Yeah, a lot of history in this building. And the one thing I saw tonight that I didn't recognize or never noticed before was that nice photo of Thurman Munson in one of the trophy cases, autographed. His connection, he played at Lehman, who used to play games here.
Maybe Lake could use him. Will Cole knocks down that second free throw, and that ball is fired down the court to Jaden Nelson.
Boy, that's Jaden Nelson's first basket of the game. Another McKinley player in the scorebook, and they're back up by 20, 55-35.
Ball's fired out to Will Cole, who puts up a quick heater, won't find it. Instead, that ball's put back up by Luke Fredmonski, turned over by the Blue Streaks. Carter's got a quick three, put one up, rolls off the right side of the rim, and that ball's rebounded by Lake's number 33, Will Cole. Cole looking to go inside. Jaden Nelson gets the steal, finds its way into the hands of Jaden Bowles, and Jaden Bowles will get a quick and one for the Bulldogs. McKinley already close to reaching that 60-point threshold that we were talking about earlier in the third.
Yeah, Jaden Bowles going to the line, trying to get his 9th point of the night. That would be at least 5 Bulldogs with at least 9 if he's able to get it. Great balance by McKinley tonight.
Bulls' first and only foul shot rolls right in. McKinley successfully reaches a 23-point lead against Lake, and they're not letting up on defense. I know none of you guys watching are actually here at the Fieldhouse, but McKinley's trapping them way down on the other side of the court.
Like, great work by the Bulldogs, but they're getting a foul called on Jaden Nelson. That's his first. But you're right, no let up by him.
Gavin Saltzwinner finds his first free throw. And Mike, this has probably been the most consistent free throw scoring that we've seen this season.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, we saw some tough nights by some teams early on. But that's another thing about Lake. You know, when I talk about how disciplined they are, I'm sure they're at the foul line in practices a lot.
Sims Jr. crossover, put one up off the back of the rim. No heat check for the kid tonight. Jaden Williams goes inside, won't find it. goes underneath inside for Lake. Won't find it. Reed Sims Jr. finds himself in the crossfire. That ball's fired down instead to Javion Carter, who takes it to his left, gets it to Jaden Nelson. And Nelson finds himself with more points, making a quick impact here, already putting up 4 for the Bulldogs in his time that we've seen him on the court now.
Well, we had Reed Sims Jr. down on the floor for a little bit. And one of McKinley's trainers is coming out to look at him, trying to put some weight on his right leg.
And it looks like he's trying to keep that ankle stiff, so we might be seeing a right ankle sprain. But he'll walk off the court limping, and that's not good for McKinley.
Well, when you're up 60-37, the one advantage you have is you really don't need to bring him back into the game tonight. Even if he could play or wanted to play. I mean, McKinley's got this game pretty much in hand right now.
That ball's inbounded to Dominic Marakoki, who goes in between his legs at the logo, almost loses it, finds another man. Ball's up, ball's down. Jalen Jeter, finds the layup. Goes inside. Marakoki tries to go for a mid-range jumper. He's got a man inside. That ball's absolutely denied by Jaden Nelson. Nasty, Mike, nasty.
Boy, Jaden Nelson's just coming into this game here in the second half. Gets a couple of quick baskets and probably the best block of the night that we've seen.
Honestly, I'm astonished. I don't know if anything can top that Anthony Chavers slam in the first, though.
No, I think that's
and Chavers intercepted. Put one up. Why won't ya? Hang off the rim for another dunk.
Yeah, I think that topped the Anthony Chavers jam in the first half.
I'm not going to lie. It might have, Mike, because just as I say that, he goes down to the other side of the court and finds the rim for another absolutely just, I don't even know what the right word is to explain it, Mike. But you know what? That's not something you see very often in high school. Ed Webster, inside, goes and blocks a man in the paint who will get another foul for McKinley.
I was going to say, Anthony Chavers heard you, just like Hunter Hirschberger heard you when you said he's going to go out and get 4 threes. And what does he do? Gets 4 threes.
Sponseller drains the first free throw. Let's see if he can go 2 for 2. Now, the announcer jinx is real.
Yep.
Because he just missed the other one. And that ball is out on the Blue Streaks as McKinley will have possession.
In a long career, I've jinxed enough people. So I'm told.
I wasn't told, but I knew as soon as he got ready to put that one up. That was coming right out. Ed Webster goes inside to Anthony Chavers, who puts up a quick mid-range floater. Won't find it. And yes, folks, that was indeed a mid-range floater. You don't see a lot of those, but he tried it, won't go through. And Marakoki goes to Sponseller, who finds Will Cole in the corner, who tries to fire up a 3 and won't knock it down. He's got Jalen Jeter going inside the paint now, who gets a quick layup in transition and the extra free throw on top of it to give Lake their second foul of the fourth quarter.
Well, here's another guy who has a shot to join the 9-point-plus club for the Bulldogs here tonight. Jalen Jeter with 8.
Jeter's first. And only one bobbles out.
The announcer didn't say anything besides his first.
This is true. Tom McBride has not taken a seat tonight. He is still up on his feet for this bout between his squad, the Lake Blue Streaks, and the McKinley Bulldogs. It's still Lake ball after a bit of a tussle with the ball as Dominic Marakoki finds it in between his legs. Marakoki commanding the Blue Streaks as if he's been on the court the whole time. But I'll tell you what, that's a natural leader. We've got a quick floater put up and an air ball by Sponseller. And now going down the court, it's Javion Carter. A quick layup finds its way in. And a 30-point lead for the McKinley Bulldogs. Crowd says, let's go Pups.
Well, Sean Weatherspoon's going to clear the bench after this possession, or at the next stoppage of play.
Marakoki's pass is bobbled, finds its way into the hands of Jaden Nelson, who goes inside to Chavers, excuse me, and goes in. Timeout taken. The subs will come on for the Bulldogs, and I think Chavers might have wanted to stay on for a little bit.
Boy, he's put on a show here tonight. It's just, again, that balance McKinley has had tonight. We talked about how well their defense was, and that's how it really set the tone for tonight. But balance all around. Reed Sims, Anthony Chavers, Javion Carter, Ed Webster. Really solid win for them tonight.
And we'll bring you a couple of other scores here. The Green Bulldogs currently trailing Massillon 25-9 at the end of the first quarter. Let me check Jackson's score for the Jackson Hoover game that our buddies, courtside, Sammy B and Lee, are currently at now.
They may have had to wrestle for those courtside seats, judging by how many media were going to cover that.
At the end of the third, it's Jackson 40, Hoover 34. And that was 23 minutes ago. So now both reserves will now go in for both teams. And Dylan Sponseller for the Blue Streaks goes out to Marakoki. Marakoki, quick three, finds its way in, rather. And that cuts the lead down to 29 for the Blue Streaks. McKinley 70, Lake 41. 2:45 left to go here in the fourth. Carter drops it off to Tavion Spencer. Now Keith Quincy has it. Almost an and one, but he'll fall. Finds his foul, and we'll head to the strike.
Well, Keith Quincy did a lot for McKinley's football team this year. Offense, defense, one of the top punters in the area. Looking for his first points tonight.
And just as you say that, Mike,
the announcer's jinx.
The announcer's jinx is real. He misses his first.
I'll keep quiet.
I'll also keep quiet. His second. Finds its way in. Let's go, Mike. I never thought I'd be that excited for a foul shot. McKinley leading 71. Lake 41. 2 minutes, 30 seconds to go here in the fourth. Going inside is Salt Swimmer. Won't go.
Well, while we got this break, maybe one thing we can both do is, because we both dealt with them during the football season, thank Antonio Hall at McKinley and Zach Slates at Perry for the help that they gave us this season. They're going to be moving on from their jobs going into next season, and we really want to thank them a lot for what they did for us.
Yes, and I thank them so much as an avid Green sports fan. There's no bad blood. There's only love, especially in the Federal League. At the end of the day, it comes down to competition, and friendly competition at that, because everybody wants to win, but everybody also wants to have a good time. Now, Javier Bradford, through his legs, goes outside to Davey Thompson. And now Keith Quincy has it once again, passing it off to Bradford, who goes in between his legs on the right side. Quick floater off the top of the backboard, won't fall in. Instead, tries to get a putback by Davey Thompson, won't go. And now, with 1 minute and 45 seconds left, it's a 30-point lead. But Mike, we learned it's 35 for a running clock.
Yes, and that's what I always thought, but I think at one game we saw that running when it was 30. We won't say who.
We won't say who, but we do know who you are. Just saying. Just saying.
It wouldn't have mattered either way.
It wouldn't have.
No.
Davey Thompson's second. Falls in. McKinley, 72. Lake, 41. A lopsided affair here at the McKinley Fieldhouse. Lake, a lot to work on before their second competition. Marakoki, guarded by Bradford, finds inside to Sponseller. Sponseller comes back out and resets. Now it's in the hands of Luke Formansky, who gets it to Nick Geyer, who gets the ball stolen from him. The ball's out of bounds on Geyer, and that's going to be a McKinley possession. McKinley 72, Lake 41, 1 minute, 26 seconds to go left. McKinley, 4 fouls. Lake, 4 fouls. Pretty tight on that front. Score? Not so much, Mike.
Yeah, pretty academic as far as the fouls are right now, as Javion Spencer fires in a 3.
Tacking on the lead for the Bulldogs. I mean, I said lopsided. I meant it. We got 1 minute and 10 seconds left here, left in the game.
I think all but 2 of the guys that you have here on your well-prepared chart, again, bro. Love the way you do that. I think all but 2 of the guys are in the scorebook for McKinley.
Marakoki's first free throw goes in after a nice roll. Marakoki's second, one fire away. Looks like he was going to go for the board, but instead finds the bottom. Number 32 for McKinley, Tavion Spencer, the 6'5" sophomore forward, tags on more points for the Bulldogs, and it's 77-42. McKinley leading by, what's the magic number, Mike?
35.
35. Marakoki looking for a pass. Behind his back goes Hastings. Hastings goes up, won't go in. Instead, that is A.J. Wood, who finds its way back in. Marakoki gets a steal off, and he'll get another foul. Lake, once again, headed to the foul stripe.
No, it's probably not a foul that Lake wanted. I mean, the game's over practically, 33 seconds left. Or that's not a foul McKinley wanted, excuse me.
Marakoki's first falls in. Prepares for a second, and Lake preparing for the press. Down the court is Javier Bradford, who finds Keith Quincy. Keith Quincy telling everybody, let's slow it down. We got 28 seconds left, and we're up by 31 points. Quincy through his legs, dribbles out the back, tries to go over to the left. He's still driving forward, and now takes it back. 12 seconds left. He's making Nick Geyer work. And now, that will be the game with 5 seconds left. Keith Quincy dribbles it out. And that will be it from the Fieldhouse. Quincy goes up. Slam by Quincy. Won't count. But that's McKinley, 77. Lake, 46. A 31-point lead for McKinley.
What a dominant performance by McKinley tonight. Balance all around. Great defense. And, you know, I think the Lake Blue Streaks, they're, like I said earlier tonight, I don't think they played too badly. They just ran into a buzzsaw against the McKinley Bulldogs. Tom McBride's going to be, you know, he's going to be trying to find the pieces, parts that's going to make this a good Lake basketball team going into the latter stages of this season, and I think they will. Let's look at some of the scoring tonight. Unofficially, for the Lake Blue Streaks, Anthony Douglas with 9 points on 3 threes. Luke Fredmonsky with 1 point. A.J. Wood with 2 points. Gavin Saltzwimmer with 14 points. Will Call with 6 points. Ethan Morrow with 4 points. Dominic Maricoki with 6 points. And Dylan Sponseller with 3 points. Great balance all around for the McKinley Bulldogs as Javian Carter finishes with 11 points. Anthony Chavers, a couple of big dunks tonight, 15 points. Jalen Jeter with 8 points. Ed Webster with 10 points. Davey Thompson with 6 points. Jaden Bowles with 9 points. Keith Quincy with 1 point. Jaden Nelson with 4 points. Reed Sims Jr. got the Bulldogs off to a good start in the first half. He had 13 points on 3 threes, and Tavion Spencer had 5 points. So the final again, McKinley 77, Lake 46. The McKinley Bulldogs go to 3-1 on the season, 1-0 in the Federal League, and the Lake Blue Streaks fall to 0-3 in the season and 0-1 in the Federal League. So we're going to take a pause right now, and Aiden Brueck and I will be back with you in a few minutes. All right, this is Mike Popovich along with Aiden Brueck back here at the Canton Memorial Fieldhouse, where tonight the McKinley Bulldogs defeated the Lake Blue Streaks by a score of 77-46. And looking at a couple of the other scores around the area tonight, Jackson defeated Hoover by a score of 51-45. Perry improves to 4-0 on the season under Matt Fall. They defeated Glen Oak by a score of 61-51. And a partial score involving Federal League teams. Massillon leads Green by the score of 25-9. That was at the end of the first quarter. And here again tonight, McKinley defeated Lake by a score of 77-46. McKinley improves to 3-1 on the season. Lake falls to 0-3. I believe Aiden's going to have an interview with McKinley head coach Sean Weatherspoons coming up shortly, so we'll be back with you in a few minutes.
We now have Sean Weatherspoon up here in the booth, live with us from the Letter Live. Aiden Brueck, Sean Weatherspoon. I mean, what a win. 77-46. You guys were in control the entire time. I couldn't tell you a time that Lake led. I mean, how are you guys able to facilitate such a tempo like that?
We definitely practice it a lot. Our practices are, very intense, very game-like, so we can, when the game comes, we can play that way.
Yeah, I mean, you saw a lot of this trapping that was going on down here in your defensive scheme. I mean, can you just talk about and elaborate on how you guys have been able to be so successful on that front?
Yeah, like I said, we practice it, man. We always want to change defenses, be very intense, get the offense off balance. I thought we didn't rotate very well in the first half, but we played extremely hard. In halftime, definitely made some adjustments and cleaned up in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, do you have any props to any unsung heroes tonight, man?
Hey, man, from start to finish, everybody. Everybody played hard. Jaden Nelson did come off the bench and played extremely hard. Probably his best game all year. He was active on the glass, running the floor, finishing strong, so very proud of him.
Yeah, let's talk about Anthony Chavers for a second. Comes in that first quarter, quick slam, and then proceeds to have such a dominant game on both sides of the ball. And then, as we saw at the end, plucks a steal and gets another dunk. I mean, what has his impact on this team been since he's come in day one?
Yeah, man, he's very, very athletic. Very, springy, high jumper. But, man, he always plays hard. He practices hard, and it's a credit to his hard work in the offseason. Definitely love coaching the kid. Like I said, he plays extremely hard, and he goes, 100% all the time.
All right, man. Congratulations on the win.
Appreciate you.
Great win to have.
All right, go Dogs.
Hello, folks. Signing out from Canton McKinley High School's Fieldhouse. I mean, in terms of this was my Canton Fieldhouse home opener, was it not? I mean, this is what a game to come to. McKinley comes out flying. McKinley 77, Lake 46. A little bit of foul trouble for both teams tonight, but we saw that more on the McKinley side. Lake just couldn't get it going offensively, especially with the traps that were being set by this McKinley defense. Now, we saw, Anthony Chavers, Reed Sims Jr. We saw all these guys coming in, especially Jaden Nelson, who comes in the second half after not playing in the first half and comes out blazing with a couple of blocks, a couple of steals, and most importantly, kid got 6 right off the bench.
Yeah, the dunks are a highlight. The three-pointers are a highlight. But I think tonight, McKinley's defense was the biggest highlight.
I agree.
Just relentless from start to finish. And if they can, like I said, can bottle this and carry it with them, they're going to have a really good season this year.
Yeah, and Mike, remind everybody watching at home where we're going next Tuesday.
Well, we're going to go check out the Hoover Vikings, who will take on the Green Bulldogs on Tuesday. Hoover falls to Jackson tonight, suffers their first loss of the season. They're going to have a really tough test tomorrow. They're going to get to play Lakewood St. Ed's over at Massillon, so they're going to go through a little bit of a gauntlet here before they come up to Green. And then on Wednesday, we will be going to Glen Oak to see these McKinley Bulldogs, and we'll get our first look at Rick Harrison's Glen Oak Golden Eagles this season. And then next weekend, you're going to South Carolina.
I am going to South Carolina, and I'm going to have a darn good time, Mike. But anyways, that is Mike Popovich from the Canton Repository and myself, Aiden Brueck, from the Green Sports Letter, signing out for this edition of the Letter Live from the Canton McKinley Fieldhouse. I mean, Mike, what an atmosphere. I mean, when this place is full, I can only imagine it's electric.
Well, I'm glad you really enjoyed yourself. And we were talking about coming back here and doing McKinley's games in the shot clock shootout.
Yeah, and they already have those shot clocks out.
They already have those shot clocks out. And the way McKinley plays, who knows if they're going to need them in the shot clock shootout. But that should be an interesting event here at the Fieldhouse in a couple of weeks, as they kind of use it as a test run to see if we will see this in Ohio high school basketball in the coming years.
So with that being said, like I mentioned earlier, Aiden Brueck, Mike Popovich, we are both signing out live from the Memorial Fieldhouse here in Canton McKinley High School. That's all I got, really. I didn't really prepare a closing. I was just going to say bye. Should we both say bye at the same time?
Let's do it.
You ready? 3, 2, 1.
Bye.